Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Taco, and today we are back with another video, and the NFL draft is tomorrow. So I'm going to do the only thing that I have consistently done on this channel the last couple years, which is a mock draft the day before the draft. So let's get into it. This is a 2-round mock draft. There is trades. I don't know a ton of these dudes in the second round, but I know the teams that they're going to and the positions that they kind of need. So we'll start off with the Chicago Bears. This is obvious. It's Caleb Williams. There's zero doubt with this pick who it's going to go to, what it's going to be. It's going to be Caleb Williams. He's a great player. USC Heisman. Ooh, la, la. You've heard this the entire time. Then you move to Washington. I have them picking Jaden Daniels. This has been my thought the whole time. You'll realize this with the first lots of picks. It's very similar to the last draft. The early rounds, or the early picks. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, he's a great prospect. He had the weird elbow thing. I think he's going to be okay. Had a great cast at LSU, but still balled out, won the Heisman. He's great. Then you have New England. They're going to pick up Drake May. Drake May is going to be a great piece for them to build around. He's a good quarterback. Didn't really have the statistics, but didn't really have any of the weapons. If you saw him on tape, he looks good. He looks good enough to be the third overall pick. That's where he will go. The fourth pick goes to the Arizona Cardinals. This is also obvious. You need a number one weapon to, just have Kyler have fun out there. I don't know. Marvin Harrison Jr., great receiving prospect. Probably the best receiving prospect since Calvin Johnson, possibly. But he's going to be a great player for the Cards, which is most likely where he's going. Then I have the Chargers picking up Malik Neighbors. Neighbors is a great receiver. I've seen some people say that they're going to trade out or get O-line. You can't be going into a season with Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnson as your 1 and 2. And if you trade out, you have a chance of not getting one of the big three. You need one. You need a stud receiver. That's what Malik Neighbors is going to be. Possibly the second best receiving prospect in the past decade or so. But just Marvin Harrison's in the same draft class. Then you have the Giants at 6. It seems like there's some speculation that it might be a quarterback. I still have Roma Dunze going here. I still believe that the Giants are going to get a weapon because they need a weapon. And that's what Roma Dunze brings to that team. They don't specifically have a good number one receiver there. They need one. That's what they'll give possibly Danny Dimes another year. Then you have the Titans. This also seems like a pretty set and done pick. It is Joe Alt. Joe Alt, he's a stud offensive tackle. You need one to protect Will Levis. You've always had good offensive lines in Tennessee. It's kind of stopped being that way. You need to get it back to being that way. That's what Joe Alt is going to do for you. Just an amazing piece, big piece, good piece, good piece. Then you have the Falcons at pick 8. This is going to be Dallas Turner. Again, I'm not the craziest human being out here. Dallas Turner, he's the best defensive player on the board. The Falcons need an edge rusher because I can't name an edge rusher on that team besides Arnold Ebiketie, who I think I only know from Penn State. So, yeah, they're going to get the best edge rusher in the draft. No team is really going to overthink these picks. Then you have Denver trading up in front of Minnesota and snagging J.J. McCarthy. They need a quarterback. They're not going to go into the year with Stidham and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is there as a third stringer. Zach Wilson is there for his career to die. He is there just to be there. He's not there for anything else. They're not giving him no chance. They're going to get J.J. McCarthy because they need to. If freaking you see the Vikings trade up to 5 and try to snag J.J. McCarthy, they will trade up to 4. That's how much they need a quarterback. Then you have the 10th pick with the Jets. I have this being Brock Bowers. You need a weapon. You need a good piece if you are the Jets for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. You got some offensive tackles. I think that is the move that you need to do there. Yeah. The Vikings at 11, I do have them trading out. This is the first time I believe the mock draft has even been different. Instead of trading with the Seahawks, I believe they're trading with the Saints. The Saints are going to jump the Raiders and get Olu Fashanu, an amazing offensive tackle, just a position that the Saints need with Ryan Ramczyk possibly not playing, Trevor Penning obviously not working out, and that's what they are going to get. With the 12th pick, it'll be Chicago. They will still get Jared Verse. It seems like that's the pick there. Jared Verse, he's a great player. He's going to be more of a consistency player. Laiatu Latu could give you 15, 16, but when you're the Bears and your leading pass rusher is a guy who got there week 8, that's not good. So, yeah, you need Jared Verse in there to get you a solid 8-9 every year. Then you have the Raiders. They are going to pick an offensive tackle. They're going to pick Talise Fuaga. Seems like a great piece for Oregon State. And the Raiders, they're going to always need an offensive tackle. They tried and failed with Alex Leatherwood. They're going to try again because, that's their biggest need, especially if you are trying to build around a young quarterback, which it doesn't look like they have done yet. But it looks like they're going to do sometime in the future. Then you have Minnesota coming off of the trade with New Orleans. I actually have them picking Quinyon Mitchell. I don't exactly believe that the Vikings have a stud corner. A lot of their corners are freaking in the UFL now. RIP Jeff Gladney, Byron Murphy's kind of the only dude that they got. I think that they need another guy, and that's what Quinyon Mitchell will bring to you. Just a great piece in there. Then you have Indianapolis. Quinyon Mitchell just gets taken away, so they're going to take the next best corner, which is Terrion Arnold. Arnold is a great piece to whatever team he's going to be on. It's mostly an athleticism play. He was the cornerback too, but at the same time, I think I said this before, in the SEC, you got a lot of receiver twos that would be receiver ones for teams like Quinyon Mitchell is going up against, for example. Terrion Arnold, he seems like he's going to be a good player, kind of a raw player, but also kind of a smart player at the same time. That is what Indianapolis is getting. Then Seattle at pick 16, they're going to pick up Laiatu Latu. They're going to want a defensive presence. If there's any team that has benefited off of medical issues, it has been the Seahawks. Look at what they did with DK Metcalf. I believe that's why they got Chris Carson. They've benefited the most, so they will go after a dude with medical issues. And Laiatu Latu's also just a good player for the Seahawks to have. Then with pick 17, it's Jacksonville. They also need a defensive back. They're going to pick up Cooper DeJean. The Swiss Army knife. It might be a safety, might be a slot corner, whatever. Please put him as a cornerback. Please let us have our fun. He plays the game the right way, high motor. But seriously, he can play almost anywhere, and he's going to play great for the Jags. He's a versatile weapon. He returned punts at Iowa, I think. Then you look at the Bengals. They are going to pick up J.C. Latham. They need an offensive tackle. He's fallen this far. I've seen him going as high as, 8-9. Like, what? Anyways, I'm falling to 18. Cincinnati needs a tackle. They lost Jonah Williams. Just some other guys have just not really worked out. Ugh. I don't know what just happened. Then you have the Eagles trading up with the Rams. The Eagles have traded up, I believe, the past 3 drafts by 2 or 3 spots. So they are going to trade up and select Troy Fautanu. Fautanu is just kind of a Stoutland pick. Stoutland is our offensive line coach. He is the greatest coach in human history. The Eagles, they always want to build up their offensive line. That's what they're going to do. They kind of lost all of their backups. And the Eagles, they also just love to pick offensive linemen. I don't know why. Then you have the Steelers. They're going to pick Jackson Powers Johnson. This seems like it's kind of been the pick, the consensus from the start. They need an interior offensive lineman. They got some good, tackle, Broderick Jones. They're going to need another young piece to bulk up that O line. Jackson Powers Johnson is going to be just fine at that. Then you have the Dolphins. They kind of had Troy Fautau who jumped from them. They don't really have an offensive tackle unless they kind of want to reach for a dude like Amarius Mims. I see them instead picking defensive line. They lost Christian Wilkins. They're going to replace it with Johnny Newton, Jerjon Newton. He seems like he is a great player, great piece to the Miami Dolphins and what they will want to do with that defense. Yeah, he just seems like he's a good guy in the interior. And that kind of jumps the Rams, who I had last mock draft, I believe, picking Johnny Newton. So they are going to go for Byron Murphy. I've heard a lot of talks of Byron Murphy, like significantly rising. I'm talking 8. I'm talking, yeah, like 8, 12. What? No. But look, the Rams, they've benefited off of undersized defensive linemen. I think that they're going to do it again with Byron Murphy. Not to the level of Aaron Donald, obviously, but they are going to pick him, hope that he's good. Then you have the Vikings at 23 doing the same thing I had him last mock draft. They're going to get Michael Penix down here at 23. It's a good pick. Of course, it's a good pick in my opinion. That's why I made it. Penix, he's a great player. I know there was the 3 season-ending injuries, I believe, but as long as he can stay healthy, he's a great piece. He's one of the better quarterbacks. He's one of the best quarterback talents in this draft class. That pro day was immaculate, I would like to say. uh, then you have Dallas. They are going to pick up Amarius Mims. This seems like this is pretty well known. Cowboys won offensive lineman. They lost Tyron Smith. Their owner isn't the smartest. He said something today like, we were the 24th worst team in the league, so that's why we have the 24th pick, because he's an idiot. But Amarius Mims, he's going to be a good tackle for that team, which I don't like. Then you have Green Bay with the 25th pick. They're going to pick Tyler Guyton. Just a large dude. David Bakhtiari has just been David Bakhtiariing, which is not playing. And so they're going to have a guy to step up as well as he's getting old. Guyton, he's not really a move around guy, but I also don't really know who their right tackle is. He might step in there. But yeah, Tyler Guyton, he's going to be a good piece on that offensive line. Then Tampa Bay with the 26th pick is going to pick up Chop Robinson. I believe this is the same pick I had them taking last time. They lost Shaq Barrett. They're going to get a good edge rusher in there because they kind of locked up the rest of that defense. They just need a bit of upgrades and they can go a long way. Then you have the Cardinals. They need a defensive back. They're going to pick up Nate Wiggins. He had an injury at the combine. Not great, but he did run a 4.28 well for at least a little bit of it having something wrong with his hamstrings, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think that he will be a really nice piece for the Cardinals. I won't say an amazing piece, but he will be good there for the Cards. Just a good overall corner. Spaz can keep up with anybody. Then you have Buffalo, and they have Brian Thomas falling right into their laps. There's just not really a receiver-needy team, I would say, from like 16 all the way up to their pick. So Brian Thomas is just going to go into their laps. They need a receiver. They're going to get one. They're going to get a pretty good one. Then at pick 29, it is Detroit. They will pick up Kool-Aid McKinstry. Is such a cool name. They need defensive backs. Cameron Sutton was freaking awful in that playoff game. He's off the team for reasons not from football, but he still needed to get off the team. So Yeah, but it'll help Detroit out getting a piece in that secondary. Really, the only piece where they don't have a top tier guy at, in my opinion. Then you have Then you have Baltimore. I'm sorry, they're gonna pick up Darius Robinson. There's been a lot of edge rushers sort of floating around at this spot, and and a lot of them are gone at this point. So Darius Robinson is going to step in out of Missouri. He seems like he's been an athletic freak, just a really good player that will head to Baltimore. Then with the 31st pick, it'll be the Niners. They will pick up Graham Barton, just a dude to fill out their O line, which was really the big weakness of why they lost the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's why they're gonna get another piece. That's about all I can say. And then with pick 32, it's Kansas City. They will pick up Adonai Mitchell. Great receiver at Texas, big game receiver at Texas and at Georgia. He just seems like he does everything right, does everything well. And the Chiefs will need a guy like that, especially if it's true that Rashee Rice possibly going to prison, possibly getting a long suspension, but still that's not good. I don't know about this rugby dude. He might be all right, and then I'm not putting any faith in like Sky Moore. I don't know. So you move into the second round now, and you start off with Carolina picking Xavier Legette. They need a weapon for Bryce Young, in my opinion, more than they need offensive line. They've addressed offensive line, but you need a weapon. That's what you're gonna get. A young, explosive, fast, good, big weapon. That's what Xavier Legette is. It'd be cool to see me in my hometown, watch me play. That deep Southern accent was pretty cool. And that's where he will go. And then you have New England. Talk about the most New England player possible. Pick 34, I have them picking Lad McConkey. White. White. That's the main thing that I have to say. Just the Patriot way. It's the most. That's anything that I need to describe him. But seriously, he's a great player. He does everything well, mostly. And he'll be a good piece for a weapon. He'll be a good weapon for a dude like Drake May. Then you have Arizona. They're going to pick up an offensive lineman. They're going to pick up Jordan Morgan out of, I believe it's Arizona State. I don't have it on here. Jordan Morgan is a really solid piece on an offensive line. This is a very deep offensive line class, mainly offensive tackle class. And that's just a place that he slides in. Then at pick 36, it is Washington. They are going to pick up a weapon, and that is going to come in the form of Xavier Worthy. They're going to get a straight, deep shot monster for Jane Daniels, whose probably best play is his deep shots. Look, he's obviously fast. He's also kind of close to the line, shifty fast. On almost better than he is straight deep, which is good when you have a young dude like Jaden Daniels. Scary Terry's on the other side is going to be real good. I think that they need another weapon. That's where Xavier Worthy steps in. Then you have the Chargers at pick 37. They're going to pick Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker out of, I believe it's A&M. He's a great player, great linebacker, great off-ball linebacker, the best one in the draft according to me. Yeah, he's going to be a great piece for the Chargers, who lost Eric Kendricks, who wasn't an amazing piece, but they wanted him to be. Yeah. Then you have the Titans at pick 38. It's weird. All these picks right around here are kind of jumbled out of order. I don't know how that comes to be. Maybe weird things with tiebreakers. I don't know. But Kamari Lassiter is going to go to the Titans at 38. He just seems like a solid DB. I don't know a ton about these dudes going down, but I know their positions besides the receivers and the quarterbacks and the running backs. I know those dudes. But it seems like Kamari Lassiter is going to be a good piece for the Titans. Then you have Vegas. They didn't get a DB in the first round, so they're going to pick one up in the second round. They're going to trade with Carolina and pick up TJ Tampa out of Iowa State, I believe. Like a safety corner hybrid, but the Raiders could use anything. He seems like he's just going to be a solid player. Then you have the Commanders. They're back up on the clock from the Montez Sweat trade, I believe. They are going to pick up Marshawn Nealand out of Western Michigan. It seems like he's risen up people's boards a little bit. Kind of a raw talent, but hey, the commies, they can use that. They also need quite some defensive line help. They still have Jonathan Allen, even though he doesn't want to be there. Let's be honest here. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good piece for them. Then you have Green Bay. They got Xavier McKinney, but they need another safety, and they're going to get it in Tyler Nubin out of, it's like red Minnesota, I think. I mean, it says it right there, but I'm gonna hope that it's Minnesota. Yeah, the Packers, they just need another safety. That's what they are going to get here. Then you have the Texans. They're gonna pick up a linebacker in Junior Colson. They picked up a couple linebackers. They didn't pick up Van Ginkel. Who would they pick up? They picked up Aziz Al-Shaair, but I still think that they're going to want another linebacker in there, and that's where Junior Colson will come into play. He was kind of the captain of that Michigan defense in the Texans. I mean, they really don't have many weaknesses, so they're just filling out the team. That's what they are doing. Then you have Atlanta. They are going to pick up Ennis Rakestraw, the corner. I've heard some people saying that they want Quinyon Mitchell at 8. I don't see it happening, but I do think that they want another corner to go on the other side of A.J. Terrell, as well as A.J. Terrell's deal is up at the end of this year, who has been a great underrated corner. But yeah, they are going to have to pick up another dude, and that seems like it's going to be Ennis Rakestraw. Then you have the Panthers trading back with Vegas. They're going to pick up a tight end in Jatavian Sanders. Sanders, he's out of Texas. He was a big piece to that offense. Quinn Ewers, I mean, you had two dudes that could stretch the field. Jatavian Sanders, he was big, he was physical, and he could run vertical on you. But yeah, he's going to be a good piece for the Panthers, who don't really have a good tight end. Then it is New Orleans. They're going to pick up what might be the steal of the draft in Keon Coleman. Yes, they have Olave. Yes, they have Rashid Shaheed. But name another dude that they got. Do they still have Traquan Smith? They might have Traquan Smith. Okay, don't answer that question. But still, Keon Coleman, he's going to be a great piece for that team. Big physical receiver, which is not really what they have with their other two main guys. So yeah, that's going to be the Saints pick up. I don't have any of these teams that made trades in the first round losing their second round picks because they were only up 3-4 slots. Then you have the Colts. They're going to pick up a receiver in Troy Franklin. They need a dude to stretch the field. They need a dude to be one of those speedy, quickie, fun players to watch. That's what Troy Franklin is. He's a great deep threat. He's a great stuffs. He's a good stuffs, because if he was a great stuffs, he would be up with Malik Neighbors and them. But he's good at his job. Me from tomorrow here, I just completely forgot to do the Giants at pick 47, which I actually have being Bo Nix. I do think that the Giants will take a stab at a quarterback. I don't think any other team really will, so they'll have him fall into their lap, and he might be a solid piece for the Giants. I don't 1,000% know or really believe so, but it's good to just take a shot on one, not just have Daniel Jones there. Then you have Jacksonville. They're going to pick up an offensive lineman in Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. I believe. Um, but yeah, Zach Frazier, he's going to be a good piece for a team that needs some offensive line help because I don't really think that they need help anywhere else. Then Cincinnati is going to pick up Brandon Fisk. They need a defensive lineman. They lost DJ Reader, and they're going to pick up Brandon Fisk. He was a combine standout and a Senior Bowl standout. Yeah, he's big, and he's going to be good for the Bengals. Then Peyton Wilson, aka Dallas Goedert, is going to go to the Eagles. He was just a nice tackling machine. He's kind of gone almost around anywhere. But I have him going to the Eagles, who I still think need a linebacker. They might not. But yeah, they're going to pick him up. Then Pittsburgh, they're going to get a defensive back for losing Patrick Peterson. It's going to come in Mike Sainristil out of Michigan. He wears 0. Pretty cool. And yeah, he just seems like he's a good corner because if you won a national championship, guarding guys like Rome Odunze and who they play in the first round would it be Jermaine Burton. They played dudes, and I guess he played good against them because now he's going in the second round. Then the Rams at 52, they're going to pick up an offensive lineman in Kingsley Suamataia. I might have spelled it wrong on my thing, so it might be pronounced completely different. But Kingsley out of BYU, which is why I could not find any good pictures of him, he's going to be a good offensive tackle. He seems large. Yeah, that's all that I know about him. Then you have Philly at pick 53 back again. This comes from, or the earlier one came from the Saints. This one comes from themselves. They're going to pick up Malachi Corley, actually, the receiver out of Western Kentucky. I really like this dude. I think that he'll grow on teams. I think that it just hasn't been sort of showcased yet, but I think that he has grown on teams. Malachi Corley is going to be a great player for the Eagles. Just a nice short route dude. They don't need a guy to run deep routes because that's what they have Smitty and Devontae Smith for. All right, but they do need a wide receiver 3. I'm not trusting Paris Campbell, who low 6 games every year. Then Cleveland is going to pick up Kieran Ademadaje. To be honest. Oh, no, that's an offensive tackle. He was either an offensive tackle or a defensive. That's an offensive tackle, though. The Browns, they might need offensive tackle. You know, DeJuan Jones. He's big. Jedrick Wills, I think his contract's up at the end of the year. They might have another dude who I'm just straight forgetting about. But, yeah, Kieran Ademadaje, he's going to be fine. Then you have Miami. They are going to pick up an offensive lineman here. It's going to come in Cooper Beebe. He comes from the inside and comes from the very inside of the country at Kansas State. But, yeah, he's going to play guard. He's going to be fine for the Dolphins. Might have to step in because, they lost Robert Hunt. Dolphins offensive line always bad. Then you have Dallas. They're going to pick up Jonathan Brooks, the running back out of Texas. He only played early this year. I believe he suffered an ACL tear within the first couple weeks. I do think that he is going to be back. That's what that's what's speculated around. It seems like maybe not 100%, but Jerry Jones isn't looking at that. He's looking at we just need a running back. Let's get this dude out of Texas. Then you have Tampa coming in. I actually have them picking a second defensive lineman in Adisa Isaac out of Penn State. They're pairing the people back together. I probably messed that up, but Adisa Isaac, he's going to be a great player for the Bucs in the second round. He put up more production than Chop Robinson. The issue is Chop Robinson is much more fasty and quicky and all the things the NFL teams like. Then Green Bay, they're actually going to pick up another safety. I definitely messed that up. In Cam Kitchens. Now, Cam Kitchens can play at corner, also at safety. He seems like a good player. His name is Cam. He's got to be good because your name is Cam. You got to be able to hit hard if your name is freaking Cam. So yeah, then you go to Houston. they're going to pick up Chris Braswell, just adding to that defense on the defensive line. He's going to be a good piece to rotate with Hunter and Will Anderson. You know, he's going to be a good player. I literally did the same exact thing. I skipped 2 more players. So at pick 59, the Texans will pick up Chris Braswell, a DN from Bama. He seems to be all right on the other side of Dallas Turner. Just a good piece of that Bama defense. Seems pretty good. And then the Bills will get one of their safety replacements in Javon Ballard. They lost Jordan Poyer. It's just not been a good offseason for them in their secondary, and so they're going to have to find something to improve it. That's what Javon Bullard will give you. Jeez, an idiot. We have Detroit. They're going to pick up a receiver in Jalen Polk. Polk. That's a cool name. Polk. Out of Washington. He was a good wide receiver, too, to Rome Odunze. And I think that he's going to fit in fine in Detroit at probably either the 3 or the 4. Then Baltimore, they're going to pick up Ricky Purcell out of Florida. They need another receiver. They lost OBJ. Rashad Bateman's kind of, Zay Flowers. Oh, no, those charges were dropped, so he's not getting suspended. But, yeah, Ricky Purcell going to the Ravens. Then San Francisco, they're going to pick up another offensive lineman in Patrick Paul. Do I know much about Patrick Paul? No, but he's got a cool helmet. He got like the 4 things, and they're going down here and here and here. That's cool. Then, with the last pick in the second round, it is Kansas City. They're going to pick up Max Melton. He's a corner out of Rutgers. Good player, from what I know, at a position of need at corner because of the loss of L'Jarius Sneed. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see y'all very soon, hopefully, for round 1 grades, which will hopefully come out Friday or Saturday. Peace. And